you start detaching your identity with how you're feeling in the moment. Exactly what you're saying. And, this definitely, we tend to then equate in that moment how we feel. And so it's like, I'm ecstatically happy, and we're chasing that happiness because then I'm a happy person, but now I'm sad, and, I want to avoid that. The reality is the mindfulness helps you identify these states. These states are individual of you. Like, do you have a patent on being happy or unhappy? No, fucking 50 billion people have experienced the same fucking emotion as you. We're all wired the same. We're human beings. So if you're sad or unhappy or whatever, do you own that emotion? Nope. You don't. Like, that's so fucking arrogant to think that you own that emotion. So he says that you step back and you say, okay, there is this emotion. Everyone's experienced it. And then you can move on from it. And so, like, we shouldn't over-index. We shouldn't always be happy, because if we're always happy, we're probably not chasing and going for the things that we need to go for. It's in the short term. And we shouldn't always be suffering and unhappy because, we need to experience life in the right way. And so there's this balance that the emotions are basically a cue to what you need to do. So happiness is a cue that you need to be grateful and experience and enjoy the time on the planet. And unhappiness is a cue to say, hey, like, there's probably some things in my life that I need to continue to adapt and change and refine. But if it's always one or the other, you're probably not moving in the right direction.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. It's this idea that we internalize all our feelings and our emotions, and we make that our identity, where these are in large part very external things, right? And we're floating around in this ether experiencing these things. So sometimes we're happy, sometimes we're sad, sometimes we're angry, whatever it is. But these are kind of external experiences that we end up internalizing and identifying with. And that can be a dangerous thing.
Absolutely. And maybe from that we say, you should be happy when you should be happy, and you should be angry when you should be angry. So there are times when you need to be angry and you should be angry. Yeah. That's a natural response to what's happening. And there are times you should be happy. What we need to be mindful of is that there's a moment where you're angry when you should be happy, and there's a moment where, like, you're content and satisfied when you really should be thinking about the future. And it's getting those patterns correct and saying that, you shouldn't always be one emotion. The emotion should match the moment.
At a risk of taking this one step too far and just falling flat on my face, I'm going to paint another metaphor here. It's like we're a water molecule, right? It's like we're a molecule of water, and we can't identify with a particular state that we're in, whether we're in a gas state, a liquid state, or a solid state, right? And so depending on the temperature of the environment, which is like these different experiences we go through, sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's room temperature, right? We go through different states. We either freeze and we become ice, which is a solid. We evaporate, which becomes a gas, or we're in room temperature where we're a liquid. But we can't identify ourselves as always one state because it's completely dependent on the environment we put ourselves in.